Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody is doing well. My name is Eric Taylor with Barricade Cyber Solutions, CEO and Chief Forensic Investigator over here. This one that I wanted to at least put this one out here. As you know or may not know, yesterday was the infamous Microsoft Patch Tuesday, and there was a CVE that was dropped yesterday. That at first it seemed pretty confusing. And I want to dive into this and kind of explain this one just a little bit. And Microsoft has actually released a script to help see if your organization has been impacted by this one. So, on the surface, Microsoft Outlook uh, elevation of privilege vulnerability. Digging into this, when we scroll down, there's potential mitigations. Making sure users are in the protected user security group. Um, and sorry, seeing some LinkedIn users potential spam there. Sorry about that. So seeing, adding the users to protected user security group, helping them protect on the NTLM aspect of things, making sure that you're blocking 445 SMB outbound. The reason that particular one really, really is important. So I guess let me take a step back here. What is essentially happening with this is with email, if you send a hyperlink, but you're using it as a network share link, say, hey, that like you may say send something in our office. They're like, oh, well, that PDF is over here on the file share. Someone will click in File Explorer and they will put that in an email. So it's a UNC network share path. The problem is with this particular one, it appears from some of the information that we're seeing that this has been released to or publicized to Microsoft from Ukraine, believing it's coming from Russia. Russia. But we always know the global conflict that's going on there. So this definitely seems to be a problem. Now, when you dig into this, it is using the net NTLM version 2 of this. So Microsoft, not bashing them at all, they make this really easy for end users. So when you click on a link, Microsoft is automatically going to communicate with that server and will try your local credentials first and any stored credentials that you potentially have for that web server in perpetuity in a list to see if you can automatically log in, making things very, very easy for you. Um, so with that, they're saying, this could, leak your NTLM hash token. Now, the reason this thing could be potentially bad with the NTLM relay attack is we'll pick out some users. So, I see Tom Bishop in the chat. Hey, Tom, how you doing, buddy? Let's just say I sent Tom Bishop an email that's crafted with his UNC link with my Azure vulnerable server that I'm using as a C2 command and control server. When he clicks on that, it's automatically going to try to log into my server with those credentials, with that hash value. Now, let's just say hypothetically, Tom has SSO, single sign on in his organization. So I could potentially take that hash and log into other platforms that he has with the single sign on. So this thing kind of expands into a much, much bigger problem that not many people are really kind of taking a moment to say, oh, it's just an Outlook patch. This is kind of a big, big effing deal. So a lot of caution needs to be taken into this one, right? So there are CVEs that are being KB articles that are being patched. This link and the one I'm about to talk to in a moment definitely is in the chat. Thank you. I'll never click on it. Tom Bishop, sorry, side comment. Tom Bishop, again, see you in the chat. Yeah, many people don't ever click links from me because they just think I'm going to troll them. But anyway, a lot of the versions are part of Click to Run, which is part of the Microsoft 365 suite. So if you are 365 and you've automatically deployed it, there's 9 times out of 10, there's a application that's installed called Click to Run. However, we do see a lot, and even I am victim, or not victim, but I am, what's the right word? I am known in the past to do this. Especially in my MSP time, I thought Click to Run in the very early stages was a piece of garbage. It really wasn't needed on Windows to make Office run, and essentially it doesn't. But it's definitely part of Microsoft's update engine for the Microsoft Office platform. Granted, the Microsoft updates will push Microsoft Office update, or the Microsoft updates will push updates for the Microsoft Office suite during its regular patch window, but you can use Click to Run, or Microsoft can use Click to Run to actually go through and automatically do an out of band update for those particular applications, if you will. Another kind of a comparison is like Adobe Cloud. You can download Adobe, and it's got its own independent updates and things of that nature. But the Adobe Cloud has its own patching update. So when you launch Adobe Cloud, it's got all of your list of applications, and you can run independent. Kind of the same concept, if you will. It's got its own patching engine, things of that nature, just to kind of put it into perspective. Now, the one thing that Microsoft has warned about, that a user does not need to click on an email, and apparently doesn't even need to be viewed. It is being processed by the email server, which is where a lot of this confusion really comes in. So the second link that's down in there is from the Microsoft CSS Exchange over there on their GitHub. And this is a PowerShell that they've put together and put out, where you could be able to run this on the on-premise Exchange server and against the Microsoft 365 cloud. What this script is doing is quite literally looking for emails inside of your tenant, again, whether on-premise or in the cloud, that has a UNC path embedded in the email. So this is a good way for your SOC team to go through and say, okay, granted, we're going to patch. Sorry, I just realized I may have not been sharing my screen, but we're going to patch this thing. We're going to make sure that's all done. And then you can do this as a post-mortem. Whether you think they're actually been impacted or you've not been impacted, you can do a complete audit. And they've even got a part of the script where you can actually run a cleanup on this thing. So this is really the reason I want to talk about this, is definitely to say, this is not just a patch, patch your crap, as we always say, but there's a little bit more that you need to do just to make sure that your organization has not been impacted in this type of situation, right? So that's it. Again, they're in the they should be in the links on all the feeds. If for some reason we've seen LinkedIn not post the links down below, just go to our YouTube channel or youtube.barricadecyber.com. It'll direct you right to it, and you can be able to get the links for this, and that way you can be able to figure out if your organization has been potentially compromised. Talk to your security team. If you don't have a security team, or your security team is questionable, reach out. We're happy to talk to you. Again, barricadecyber.com. Hopefully you found this information useful. Go out, make sure you're patched, make sure that you have not been a potential vulnerability to this. I know I'm going to be adding this to our DFIR cases as far as things that we look for in potential breaches, things of that nature. So it's definitely something that we'll be adding to our repertoire. So thanks again, everybody. Hope everybody takes care and enjoy the rest of your day.
There once was a kid whose passwords laid across all sites, they were the same. A criminal then found their fame by taking that data to go.
Soon may a criminal come to steal your pictures and data and run. One day when the crime is done, they'll steal your account and go.